All right, boys, shut the doors. Let's get in here. Players only, and we got to pick the brain of a guy who was dynamite last night. Jeremy Swayman is joining the show here, Sway. Appreciate you joining us. Hey, I'm just going to get right into it here. I've wanted to talk to you for a while because we have something in common here. A guy that meant so much to me, God rest his soul, Red Gendron. I got a quick story real quick. I had him in Albany before I played in the American Hockey League. I was going into my third year in professionally, and I got sent down from New Jersey to Albany, and I had it all planned. If I don't make the team that year, I'm going to play out that year. I was going to go be a firefighter. I signed up through the Players Association to go to this firefighting school, and Red challenged me. I remember this distinctively. Took a puck, put it behind him, and said, "Can you get that puck from me?" And got in my face. And he was trying to show me like another level, right? He wanted me to be mean. Yeah. And I'm like, "Yeah, Red, of course I can get that puck." You know, he was an older man at the time. He goes, "You can't get that puck." And I'm like, "Yeah, I can." And he shoves me in the chest. And he's like, "Go get it." And I start reaching around, smacks my arm out of the way. And he's like, "Come on, no, I'm serious." We're getting like a wrestling match on the ice. And he challenged me to be more aggressive. And he gave me the great news that I was called up. And I owe him a lot. He helped me find another gear. And I know he means a lot to you. So can you give us a Red Gendron story?
Man, I mean, that kind of nails it right on the head. He reads people so well, I think. And he knows how to get the most out of a player and obviously a person. I mean, I think everyone knows what he means to me and countless other people, you guys included, and those have crossed paths with him. It's one of those guys that every time you see him or meet him, it's like a life lesson. And that was what I always loved about Red is he would always get an individual time with you, and he would always give you some sort of advice that you could bring with you for the rest of your life. And that's just who he is as a human, and all his experience he's been so excited to share with other people, and he knew that his knowledge could help others, and that was one of his greatest traits, and that's what we love him for.
Well, Jeremy, we heard a lot about you. You have quite a few interests, one of those being playing the guitar. I heard this summer you might have got on stage at the House of Blues with Dalton and the Sheriffs. Can you tell us about that experience?
Yeah, I think you know those guys pretty well too. Yeah, that was a special one. I think 2 goals of mine was to be a rock star and an NHL hockey player. So that was pretty sweet to have both those get done in the first one of these summers. So yeah, I think that was such a cool experience. I mean, those guys are obviously salt of the earth people. And I remember we had a charity event for the Wives and Girlfriends last year, and they were playing at it to run the marathon. And I ended up talking to him for a little bit, like, "You play a little bit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, a little bit, but nothing special." He's like, "All right, we'll keep in touch." And I got a text this summer. They found out I was staying in town, and they said, "Hey, we got a gig at the House of Blues. We want you to come up on stage." So I was like all over it, and we had a rehearsal, and I was so fired up, and it was the coolest thing ever, getting behind stage. That, "All right, come on, after this song," and I charged out there, and obviously it was a great crowd, and what an incredible experience with those guys. So I hope we get to do that again soon.
Were you more nervous for that or your first NHL start?
I don't know. I was pretty excited for both of them, man. So I think I can't say I was nervous. I was fired up, and it was just it was great, man. I loved it.
So you're from the great state of Alaska, and we've had a lot of Alaskans in the NHL, which is really cool to see. There's yourself and a few others in the league right now, but so you come from a state where there's a ton of wildlife and black bears, but then you end up at University of Maine to play for the Black Bears. How'd that happen? Were they always your choice, or did you have some other offers cooking at the same time?
It was a pretty interesting experience because I had never talked to a college team before I got to junior, and I think we had a junior showcase. It was in Omaha for the USHL, and I think after that tournament, I had about 16 teams knocking on the door after 0, from my U16, U18 years. So it was a pretty cool experience. And I think UMaine separated themselves because I had Ben Guite and Jay Leach come in the room, and we didn't really talk about hockey at all. It was mostly about the incredible fishing, hiking, and wildlife that Maine had to offer. So I don't know who tipped them off, but that got my interest. I got my interest right away, and I was like, all right, Maine's going to be one of those schools that I want to take seriously. And throughout the entire recruiting process, I thought that the coaching staff there was one that was going to not only help me be a better hockey player, but a better human. And that's when Red really took it. He separated himself from all the others because the way that he would communicate with me as a player, as a person, and of course, my family, he knew that there's a lot bigger things in life than hockey. And that was something that I knew. I knew I wanted a degree. I knew I wanted an incredible college experience, and I knew I wanted to get to the NHL. And Maine had everything I needed there to get me all those things. So I couldn't have been more happy with my decision. And the people I met, the experiences I had, the incredible community in Maine, I feel like it's a second home for me. And being in Boston is so perfect because I get the ability to see, Mainers and people I went to school with still. And I get to travel up there in the summers.
Well, you mentioned, or we've talked obviously about you being from Alaska, but I always find it really interesting the upcomings of players. And you were in Toronto in the kind of the hockey hotbed, and it's cutthroat, right? And you know what organizations you need to play on, or if you want to get to where you want to get to. You were in Massachusetts, and I was reading this thing just from you going. I guess I would assume that was just through the USA Hockey and the districts. I was from Ohio, so I'm from the Mid-Am district. And well, you guys are I don't know, it changes the Pacific Northwest. Is that what is it? The Northwest, the district that they have at USA Hockey. But anyways, at some point you had to make this realization or have this moment of truth where if you wanted to get to where you wanted to get to, you had to leave, right? And how tough is that? And you have someone during that time to tell you kind of like, I had one. We've all had a guy. It's like, hey, if you want to do this, now you got to move. You got to take this big leap of faith. True. And who was that person for you?
I mean, I have so many people that I can thank for that next step. I think the biggest thing for me, though, was getting cut by the Kenai Brown Bears. And it was a pretty unique situation because it was I was at that pinnacle of Alaska hockey where we didn't have enough kids to field a U18 team, at least one, and no chance we could field two. So even if we had one U18 team, we wouldn't be able to play a local talent. So I was fully ready to go to the Kenai Brown Bears. I had tendered the summer before, ended up going to camp, and I got cut. And I didn't have any other teams as a backup plan. So I ended up having to leave Alaska if I wanted to continue playing hockey. And I was one of those kids that didn't really want to leave until I absolutely had to. And ideally it was for juniors. And when I got cut, it was one of those moments like, oh man, like we might not be having this hockey as a reality. And so that was one decision that would change my life because I ended up going to Colorado and playing for the Pikes Peak Miners for Greg Vanover. And it was one of those years that if that didn't happen, I don't think I would be here to this day. And you want to talk about people that helped me get to this point. Greg Vanover was one of those people. And of course, I had incredible coaches in Alaska too, Merritt Waldrop, Keith Morris, Corey Wright, all these guys. But that year was most incredible year because one, I was living away from home for the first time. I was playing elite talent at the U18 level, and I was getting seen by junior teams, college teams for the first time, really, at least when they were looking to recruit my age level. And so I knew that every time I had the opportunity to be on the ice in these NAPHL tournaments, I was going to get the opportunity to get seen by the right people. And so that mindset I had of, one, I never want to get cut from a hockey team again. Two, every time I get the opportunity to play in front of the right people, I'm going to make the most of it. And that mentality really changed my life. And I think Greg Vanover did such a good job about teaching me about teamwork, leadership, communication, and compete. And those four things have stuck me to this day. And I know that every time I get complacent or a little bit comfortable, I get to think about that guy, and he can humble you pretty quick. So I know that anytime I get that way, I want to reel it right back in. I got to earn it every day. And that mentality has stuck with me, and I really enjoy it.
Jeremy, I heard from a very, very close source that your nickname is Bulldog. Do you care to share why your nickname is Bulldog?
I'd love to know who is that close source.
Can't reveal. I cannot reveal.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, Bulldog came in effect last year, and I think it's biggest thing is just competing, Bulldog in the net, and it just kind of stuck around. And it's funny, every time we got a starting lineup now, all the boys start barking. So it's pretty funny. So yeah, the boys get barking, and it leaves away from the rink too. It's awesome. So it's a nickname that'll stick, I think.
Here's what's really interesting, man. You and Lena Solmark have a very authentic relationship. And it's never easy because only one goalie can play in the net at a time. But you guys are so supportive. You just mentioned teamwork from one of your mentors. You guys bring that to the table. How did you cultivate that? And what level would you put it at out of 10?
11.
Wow.
I think it's one of the most unique goalie relationships I've ever had and possibly that has ever been. Obviously, Weeksy, what it's like to be with, a high-level goalie, and to be playing with the best goalie in the world for the last 2 years has been really special. And I know that we both take it super seriously every day about competing, having that compete mentality, understanding that, yes, we both want to play, we both want to win games with this team, and in order to do so, we both got to earn that net. And to have that relationship on top of it where, we get to go to lunch together, we get to go to dinner together, I got to go over to his house, and his kids call me Uncle Sway. Like, it's the coolest thing ever, man. And I'm just so fortunate to have a brother like that in my everyday life. And, it's something that obviously we've seen the whole entire hockey world has really embraced. And the hug is something that we didn't expect to come to what it is today, but it's pretty special to see. It means more than just a hug, right? It's the camaraderie within teammates and the camaraderie within goalie partners. And obviously, when you got two goalies that can win games for you every night, it can make a pretty dangerous team. And so that's the confidence that we've built in each other. I think the confidence that our team has in us, and that's something that we want to keep rolling for a long time.
Hey, I could listen to you talk all day about pretty much anything. It's been great having you. But we got this part where we are going to show you some pictures, and we know what you were thinking. And so this was even just last night, talking about the goalie hug. What were you thinking?
I thought you were going to show me. I thought you were going to show me eating it. But that was a good one, man. That's the end of the road trip win, 2 points. Let's go home.
Oh, I love that.
I love those jerseys.
Me too.
Those jerseys are nice. I love those.
Fire.
Right?
Nasty.
Those are really nice.
They're fire.
And I'll be the first one to say there's been some Bruin jerseys over the years I haven't really loved. These ones.
You didn't like the yellow with the
yellow with the
bear?
Pooh Bear card?
Not so much, but we'll save that for another day. But these are really
these
nice.
These are dirt. These are dirt.
What else we got?
That's sick too.
That one, probably looking at my tape, pretty pissed that I just got it marked up by a scrum in front of the net. But I think it's just, kind of a reset, going to the corner and getting back to action when that whistle blows or that puck drops.
Love it. I love that too. That mask is sweet, by the way.
Hey,
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think Dave did an awesome job. That was a fun one because, not every year you get a centennial year. So
that's true.
You know what's funny? What's funny with goalies is like in hanging with Weeksy, like he notices every detail. Like Sway, like we'll be sitting there in NHL tonight, Weeksy will be like, oh, look at that. Stoudemire got new pads. He's got as a skater, that's the last thing I ever noticed. I don't know it's any of that stuff. Goalies are always on point. Like, do you stay on top of like what every guy has in the league, helmets, pads? That's always what you guys do?
You definitely notice it because it's the style thing, it's a swagger thing, and I think Weeksy knows it best, right? It's these guys. It's been really special to have Linus as a partner too, because he's so dialed in with his gear, and I was kind of a stock guy that always just, whatever you guys make, I'll use, right? It's something that I've always had, and to be able to talk with Linus about it, and obviously now with True, I've been able to kind of customize different things and make it feel better. So it is cool to talk to different goalies around the league and see what they're using. But yeah, I definitely noticed the little things that most goalies are using.
I love it. I love it. We got a picture here. This is one of my favorite. You guys sold this. I mean, look at that.
Sick. Sick.
Yeah, that was the first game, I think. So that was a centennial suit. Had to break it out. I think a couple of the boys got a couple. But yeah, that goalie cap my dad actually got for me. He went to Scotland for a wedding this summer. I said, Dad, I think if you're going to get me a gift, that's going to be the one. So shout out to Pops.
Sweet.
Nice. Authentic.
Tree piece, too.
Authentic.
Double-breasted vest, huh?
That looks
sick.
Nice. That looks really nice. Really
sick.
Thanks.
What else? We got more? Oh, no.
All right. Here it comes. That one, I think I made the save, so I was just hoping to get off my butt there. It's pinnacle goaltending, as you can tell.
You didn't take a knee in the face here, did you?
I mean, I kind of forgot. It's just how it goes.
That's a full charge if he's playing for the Celtics. He took a charge. If he's playing for the Celtics, he took a charge there.
Yeah, get right back up. Goalie Bob would say that's elite goaltending right there, right when you end up on your butt. So
he does a great job.
That's what he loves.
I love that his name's Goalie Bob.
I know, so good. He's done such a great job. Really,
Yeah.
Bob Essen's their goalie coach. He's awesome. One of the best in the business for sure.
We got some.
Absolutely.
We got some outdoor ones
Sure.
here. I love the look.
Sure. Yeah, the small calves, trying to cover those up, but I think I had to rep the hat there. That was a fun game, man. That was special.
We were there.
Yeah, know it. And so, just taping the stick, and the unis were so sick.
Nice.
Fergie obviously took charge with that. He's one of the best. He's so creative with that stuff. So, we got all those hanging up. I think a couple boys got them framed too. And yeah, the catch before the game too with those old school mitts was so funny, man. Just dropping balls, because it's like there's no giving those things, right? It makes you appreciate how those guys used to do it.
You had to keep that glove, right?
Oh yeah,
The whole
that one,
ensemble?
Oh, good. Good.
had all the boys sign it, and I got it like
That's
hanging
sweet.
up. It's pretty cool.
It was
Yeah.
funny. We had Blake Coleman on yesterday. We were talking Heritage Classic, and we've played in outdoor games, and he brought it up, and I'm like, that's a great point. Like when you get to play in these games, the swag you get. Like I was asking him about, because I know when we were in the Winter Classic together, remember they had like a table set up, and it was, all right, what are you going to need? How cold is it going to be? And everyone thinks it's like, oh, I got to change. I got to wear all these layers and get all these, these different accessories. And then you realize, no, man, I'm going to go what I usually go with it. But then you just like, well, you guys don't want this stuff back, right? I just want all this gear underneath. How good is it, like when you get in those outdoor games, like all the amounts of swag that you get?
It's awesome. It is cool because you get to rep it during the year too a little bit. I mean, everyone knows that, the experience that we went through, and obviously this summer you get to rep it too. So it's a pretty cool experience, and all your buddies are all fired up for you. So I'm glad that we do that. I think it's one of the most unique things in sports, and it's something that they should continue for a very long time.
And I'm glad that Rupper asked that, because we used to get a lot of that, and all of a sudden the arms got a little alligatory around here. The arms just started retracting. So, Sway, you putting that out there, Rupper teeing you up.
That's
go.
right. Anything that
That's right.
NHL guys like more than free stuff.
Hey, but hey,
Dude,
Spoiler.
I've used sticks for them to give me a hat and a T-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all right, I'm in. Let's go.
Listen, I've got cousins in Barbados, bro, wearing Winter Classic hats.
Yeah.
in 100-degree heat in the Caribbean. So anyways, they go a long way. You guys know. Family member love those.
I got a big family.
Yeah.
They're all,
Yeah.
and I played on a lot of teams, so it's
Same.
it's colorful.
Right.
I think
That's the thing too. It's like you get the swag, right, and then all of a sudden your dad's wearing it head to toe. And it's
Yeah.
like, all right,
Oh,
it's gone.
that's the
So-
regular play. That's the
100%.
regular.
Yeah.
It's always
100%.
golf
Yeah.
outfits.
Hey, listen, it's community relations, man. That's
Exactly.
branding,
It
right?
is.
Community relations
Sell
right
it.
there.
Hey, I think we got a couple from Alaska here. I love this stuff, dude. I got to tell you this much,
That's unreal.
Sway. I'm like, my bucket list. I remember my former teammate, Scott Gomez, used to always talk about salmon fishing up in Alaska, going up. I've always wanted to do, I've always had this inkling to do like a grizzly hunt. Like, I don't know, just all these different, like,
You gonna hunt a grizzly bear?
I've heard guys talk about all these different things,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I want to experience Alaska. I never have been there.
You want to hunt a grizzly bear?
I mean, I'd want the right crew with me.
YouTube.
I'd want the right crew with me. But look at this, man. Like, this is life. That's life right there.
that fish is different, though.
Yeah, the fish won't rip your face off. That's true.
Correct. Yeah, the grizzly bear's a little psycho, but that's all right. It's one of the most unique places to grow up. Actually, some of these photos you're showing was from Calgary this summer, so I can't take
okay.
credit for Alaska. Yeah, but what a great trip that was. We were able to go out there, and a couple of the boys came down, and it was an incredible bull trout fishing. We called it the bull trout rodeo. So it was a great experience. But Alaska, I mean, you can't compare it to anything else. And you try to, because you want to have some sort of familiarity with other places in the world, but it's just so unique. And I know, Rupper, with Gomer, I mean, the fishing is unmatched, and
Yeah.
you can be fishing, and all of a sudden a grizzly bear is 40 feet in front of you crossing the river.
That's amazing,
And
man.
you
I
gotta
get like
have your-
goosebumps when you're saying that.
I get nightmares.
I'm going to leave that to you. but real talk, though, real talk. I watch all that on all those shows on TV. So I like seeing those. But the craziest thing I did was play goalie. But the best part about you being a goalie and a current one and being as good as you are is you're crazy enough to do that goalie stuff in real world applications. So props to you, bro.
Hey.
Hat tip to you. Yeah.
Too many pucks to the head week. So you know how it goes.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Well, hey, dude, you're amazing. We were joking around when we started learning a little more about you. I'm like, this guy's like the Dos Equis guy. Like, he's the most interesting man in the world. We're not even talking about. We don't even have to talk about the Boston Bruins and your guys' success. We just talk about life, man. And we appreciate you hopping on with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
man.
you.
Keep up the great work, both of you guys, the whole squad. Thank you.
Thanks, fellas. Thanks for having me.